Hello, everyone. I hope you can see my screen. I was having trouble before, but I hope I'm not having right now. So I'm
Okay.
Deeksha, and as Jeremy introduced me, I worked at Datacove as a data analyst. And before that, I never used Tidyverse in that deep. Before R was my master's. It's a big software that I learned when I came across by learning data science and everything. I knew Python before, but I never worked for R. And when I started studying, when I first saw R, okay, I feel like back home in India, no one use R. Like very less amount of people use R. And then when I saw R, I was like, I give up. I'm not studying data science anymore. I want to switch everything. So then my one of my cousin, he inspired me. He said like, okay, you have to give it a try. You have to start learning everything. Then I started doing my masters. After completing my masters, I was like get into R too much that I almost forgot, I can use Python as well. So after that, when I get a chance to work for Germany, and it's like something you know from the very basics, and then you get the chance to work more regarding that field. So that's what I feel after coming across with Germany. And something about me is like I love to travel. I leave my country just for traveling, not more for the study or anything. And I have been working as a data analyst for past couple of years. And then when I came across with the R, is like it's been 2 years right now, and I really enjoy working with R. Here's something about our company is like we help with the people who have like on every stage, like it doesn't matter from which industry you belong, it doesn't matter what kind of data you are having. We are here to like help you with your data sets and for shaping our strategy to analyzing our customers data. We are here to help you guys, and if you need any more information, Jemmy will be here for at the end of this call. And what we do in Data Cove is like we have customers' data. We give them a view of their data sets, what we can do with their data sets, and what different thing we can extract that they don't know, because most of the company they are non-technical. Some of the company they do have some technical team, but not all of the company have a technical department. So for each and every field, we help them over there. We do custom analytics, email marketing optimizations, and report measurement. Apart from that, we do give some training and coaching regarding the subject R. And as I said, if you need any more questions, Jeremy is here to help you. So basically, when I get to know about what is Tidyverse, it's like I saw my data set. Before that, it might be possible that I was using Tidyverse, but I wasn't aware of that. I can use it in a more broad way. So as I get to know that Tidyverse is the opinionated collection of our packages, all the packages share an underlying design and philosophy of grammar and different data structure. So there will be consistency across all these different kind of approach. As you can see in this picture, what it did, it take the data sets from wherever data stored and tidy up the data set to transform it. You can transform the data's structure as well. You can transform into some other way as well. And then you can visualize your data sets in a picturization, for a non-technical person. For example, if I'm explaining something to someone who don't know what my data look like, where is the increment of your data, where is the decrement, where you are, if you're spending money for some industries, you don't know, some non-technical people, they don't understand. So as I believe, like if you represent them in a visualization form, it's one of the best thing to do. And through that we can easily communicate with our data sets. So the main thing, for as I learned, that it's very important for you to learn and communicate with your own data set. Without understanding of your data set, I don't think so you can solve any kind of problem. So some important packages in the Tidyverse, as I don't know, because most of the people, you already know about these packages, but these are some just basics for packages is just like you might come across the reader, what it did, like it read your data sets in your system. And the most newest one is the table. It's like table is a build consumed sequentially. And when defining a column, you can refer to the column and created earlier in the call. So only the column of the length one are recycled, or if a column evaluate to the data sets from a table, it's like it will be nested or spliced. So that's the main work of the table. And apart from that deployer, I'm going to talk more about the deployer because I think this is one of my favorite packages in Tidyverse. And the Lubridate is actually, it's one of the very finest package if you are using time data set that belong to time and date. So it's not necessary that you are having a data set in the same date format, or it could be a leap year date format, it could be a different kind of date format. For example, if you're having month wise, year wise, every data set have their own way. So for those kind of data sets, you can easily work with the Lubridate. And the rest is focus, string, and the map. So mapping, pipeline. So the pipeline is one of my important favorite as well, because what it did, it really makes your life very easier. And for the string, before that, like when I was writing my code and everything, I literally ignored these things. So when I was typing anything and I forgot, okay, I have to give the semicolon up, like double quotes or single quotes. So after putting single quote, double quote, I have to go through the string again. And then I realized, okay, these are the things I have to include in the strings. So strings are one of the very important parts of your Tidyverse. And then you come across the Per. Per is a programming language where you can program your data sets over there. And the rest is visualization. That's a ggplot. Ggplot is, I believe, is one of the best way to represent your data sets in any, any form. It gave you a wide variety of, options where you can represent your data sets and everything. So the next important thing is deployer. So why we use deployer? It's like, every time I came across and I was like, people keep asking me, okay, why you're using deployer? So deployer is basically it's a used efficient package where we don't have to spend too much time for our computation to complete, even for the large data set. So sometimes we do have a small data set. For example, when I was studying in my master's, they don't give a very large amount of data set. Those data sets are very small. It's like some data sets are even 5 columns or rows. So if I'm applying something over there, it's not a very complex data set. But still, I used to wonder why they are asking me to work for deployer, not any other easy functions that I can use and easily use now. But after the certain time, when I get to know that, okay, data sets can be in millions or billions, it could be very complex, complicated data set. So for that purpose, when I came across the deployer, I realized that not even it makes my life easier, it saves a lot of time while doing these data sets. I'm going to do some tricks, or like it's a small coding parts where you can use these coding parts for your data sets, and it really help you when you're doing using the deployer functions in your data sets. So, okay, I'll just, sorry. Here's, okay. So if you can see, I wanted to show you that it can make your life more significant and easier, and how you can use them to wrangling your data set with less code. Like sometimes we have to write a lot of codes. We have to write like a very big code just to solve a very small problem. But by doing these small tricks, you can literally use your data sets in a very small coding part. So my first one is tidying using pivot wider. So I use the storm data sets. So storm data sets basically looks like this, and it's a collections of year, month, day, and hour. And the status is like tropical day, and here. So what I'm using here, the whole idea of using the pivot wider is that you wanted to make the data that is long form and transfer it to the wide form. So let's say our data looks like this. Okay. Sorry. Why can just a second. Okay. I think something. I hope you can see my screen right now as well. Yeah. Oh, because I couldn't see the run. So here, if I'll run this, what we say, let's see. As you can see, what I did over here, it's like a year. Now let's say you are interested in seeing them in a mean, median, and pressure each for by year for each storm, and you can use pivot wider, which clearly known what you are trying to do and paste the column name together by default. So here we go. I think I've done this. So in this section, what I did, I literally used the pivot wider, and I can see them in the year format. And instead of like seeing them with a name and different year having different columns and different names, there's 1,000 of rows. But what if you just want to see some 1 year or 2 years? So that's why I use this pivot wider, and which clearly knows that you're trying to do some column names together. Okay. The second is one of the like breaking up the column dimension, and however you wanted to use tidier pivot longer. So why actually we use, if you have a data wide data that represent multiple dimension, you can transform it to the long data and break out an arbitrary number of dimension from the column names, and using the radius in the name name pattern arguments of the pivot longer. So for example, you are moving previous table back to the long form, and we would do something like this. Okay. So if we have pivot wider table, and now I wanted to return them in the more wider form. So it will, my outcomes will be like this. So before that, as you can see, that was like a mean, median. Now I can see the mean, median, and everything of my data sets: hurricane, tropical, and tropical storm. So these are the small tricks that can you can apply for any complex data sets. It's not only used for particular data set. These tricks can apply for any data sets. The last one is the summary or mutate across as many columns as you want by using the deployer. So what happened here, I have used the empty cars data set. So empty car is the R library functions data set that already inside of the packages. And if you just want to see, I'll show you here. The data sets will look like something this. It's a collections of all the data, all kind of data sets over here, different names of the car, and then the MPG cycle and the special HP, everything's mentioned over here in this data sets. And when you came across the deployer across, it's a new adverb in deployer that allow you to flexibly work with an arbitrary number of columns and better control on your output. Previously, if you wanted to do the numerous operation on the numerous column, you would need to use scooped variant of the summarize and mutate to achieve this default output. That was not easy to control, but it can be. It can allow you to do various functions over here. So the now adverb across can be used for all cases of achieved the same goal. So you're no longer use of if, at, and all variant. It acts as a selecting function to be used by summarize or mutate, and provide an easy use of the name arguments to control the column and name of the output using glue syntax. Okay. So these are the main tricks I wanted to show you in my deployer functions. And there is and by using this, you can tidy up your data sets. As I show you other functions. So in the other functions, if you see, there are a lot of packages over there. So these packages can be used by any for any format of the data set. So for example, this is the simple, it's online public data sets, and I use that. And it's like, you can, once you upload, like here, the read R function is it's another package of the Tidyverse, and it's just read your data set. And after that, it's just, if you want to use the rename of the column, you can, with the help of dplyr, you can rename of all of the column. And then by using the select function, you can reorder and select each and every variable in your data sets. Apart from that, you can split the data set by using the tidier packages. And the the dplyr functions not only give one or two options, give me too many options that I cannot put everything in all together in a one data sets. But yeah, definitely these are the few basics packages that in the dplyr, these are the very few things that we have to use every day in our life. Like if you are handling any kind of data set, these are one of the best packages. So you can easily use these functions in your data sets, and it makes your data more cleaner. And the next is ggplot. So basically in the starting, when I start using ggplot, it shows me like different, my first image was like something very black and white histogram. So that was my first plot. And I was like, oh, this is just my data set and a histogram. But that was my first coursework, and I didn't know I had too many options using I can use in the ggplot. So I started working, trying exploring, putting different colors, different numbers, different output, everything in the ggplot. I explored everywhere. Like, I'm not saying I know everything, but I did try every code online, whoever tried anything, and I just copy pasted at that time. I just love to see what images I'm getting for my data set. So for that purpose, the new thing what I learned about is the patchwork. So the library patchwork I had never used before. But once I get to know what patchwork actually do, the patchwork actually run your whole ggplot in the same format. So what it did, it combined each and everything, and it gave you your images and your pictures in a more appropriate way to represent your graph. And these packages really one of the my favorite ones. So it's like, as I show you here, it's very common, a need to perform operation on subset of a data frame. And this requires you to nest the data set according to the certain variable. And nested by, I have used the nested by, I didn't use the nested by, I'm sorry. It's like you're using the patchwork functions in the different type of scatter plot, ggplot, box plot, everywhere for the empty car data sets. So the beauty of this list column is that you can store many different things in them, and not just values. They not allow you to use one, our old friend, like summarize or mutate and everything, to generate column or contain not just value, but the data frame. The whole data frame was generated over there. And even the plots can be stored in this one as well. So if I'll just run this one, I can show you. So as you can see, it's the same data set that I used before. So it's like some plots. I'm going to put it over here. Here. So what I did, I just created some simple function to generate scatter plot and box plot by using ggplot. Then I nested my data set and mutate them into column, and then it generate these plots. So basically these plots are the not only the scatter plot or box plot, it's a combination of the both. And that here, what I was saying, the patchwork allow us to give make this work easier. So by using these patchwork library functions, we can put too many ggplots options all together. Like you can use the histogram or line graph or any other graph all together, and you can see your data sets in a different format. So that definitely makes my life easier, and I hope it makes everyone's life easier as well. And apart from that, the pipeline. So what the pipeline is like, as a Stephen, he started, Stephen Melton. He's the one who designed this software, and it's a package. So his only motive was like how you can make your code easier. because nobody wants to write 3 or 4 pages of code, and everyone wants to do something that can brings all the work together, but in a few steps only. So his one motive was to can be used to string different arguments together and make codes more efficient. So it's like you are making your code more and more and more easier. Every steps, like as a someone said, like not someone says, I think I do remember that why we are hiring lazy people. So lazy people only makes our life more easier, as I heard. And I believe it's nothing wrong by doing that. If something's making your life easier, you don't have to spend too many times for the same thing. Then you can use in a couple of steps. Then again, a friend of mine, he came and he said, as you can see, filter data variable in the numeric value. If you apply this one for your data sets, it do the same thing. And when you're applying the same for data, this pipeline filter, and then it do the same thing. So he asked me why you are doing this one instead of that one. So I just have to answer him that this one you can use for any easier data sets. But if you're having a very complex data sets, this code won't work for that. So that's definitely one of the pros of this. And it's like this one is really one of the nice thing to do with your complex data sets. That's everything that I have learned as far as now in the Tidyverse. And once I started working, COVID happened and I did everything online, and I worked for Jomi as well as an online data analyst. But I believe anyone, if I can learn, anyone can learn online.